The internet is only a great resource if you know how to use it. I'm Malik Mercier, host of Internet Expert, a new game show about exploring democracy through the internet. In each episode, I challenge two contestants to dig deep and find the answers they need to understand the 2020 election. The answers are at your fingertips. Let's go find them. Welcome to Internet Expert. This is the game where you and your laptop can save democracy. I'm your host, Malik Mercier, and this week's topic is voting. With protest, policy changes, and a whole pandemic, it feels like 2020 could throw literally anything at us next, and it may feel out of our control, but there's one thing we can control, and that is voting. It's time we update our knowledge of where, when, and how we will vote in November, and to do so today, we've got a teacher-student rivalry on our hands.
Hey, Mr. Rush.
Hey, Malik, how are you?
You are a high school teacher. You also teach Model UN. What was the first election you voted in?
So that was actually the midterm elections of 2006.
In 2006, I was in first grade, so
That's good.
pretty cool. Ellie, hey, what's up?
Hey, Malik.
You were class president, and you graduated earlier this week. Congrats. How are you feeling?
I feel like an adult, but probably not as old as what Mr. Rush is feeling right now, so.
I already feel the tension. Ellie, when was the first time you ever voted?
I'm still 17, so I will be able to vote in this year's November elections, but not yet.
Ellie, what does Mr. Rush have to do if you win?
My senior year, we went to New York on a Model UN trip. A group of us started screaming and singing in the streets of New York. Mr. Rush did not want to join in, so I think it's only fair that he gives us a performance when I beat him.
I love it. Mr. Rush, what does Ellie have to do if you win?
And Ellie immediately started roasting me for being just a typical millennial. So if I am victorious today, I would like Ellie to Snapchat herself, having a nice piece of avocado toast, which is delightful, while describing how awesome millennials are and how youthful Mr. Rush is.
In this game, we have 5 challenges, and each of you will have your laptop and your brain to solve them. Here's your first challenge. It's time to check yourself. It's pretty simple, but you'll need to do it pretty fast. I want you to use the internet to find out your voter registration status. And the point is going to go to whoever finds their status on a credible site first. Go.
So I am going to the mass.gov website, but trying to figure out if I am currently active to vote. I am ready to go, Malik.
Okay, tell me.
So I am registered to vote. I am active. My ward number is 21. I'm precinct number 6. And I can vote at Jackson Man's School over in my hometown of Allston, Massachusetts.
I've got to give Mr. Rush the point there.
There are a number of places where you can find out your voter registration status, but the government-run site is managed by the National Association of Secretaries of State. Different states will ask for different personal information, so you may need to have your driver's license or your ID card number handy. Sometimes they'll want your social security number, your birthday, or your address, so have that information handy in order to check.
Here's the next challenge, and we've got a special guest to present this one. Contestants, let's welcome Edgar B. Hurwitz III, the host of WGBH's very own Curiosity Desk. Hey, Edgar, how have you been?
Hey, Malik, how are you? Ellie, Mr. Rush, very exciting stuff so far. I'm going to ask you a question about a story that I wrote for WGBH News, and your job is going to be the first person to answer it correctly. But in order to do so, you're going to have to read the story pretty closely. So here is your question. In January of 1845, Congress passed a law establishing the date for federal elections as the first Tuesday after the first Monday in November. Which occupation was Congress trying to accommodate when it chose to hold federal elections on a Tuesday? The clickety-clack of the keys is so exciting, I gotta say.
How you doing, Ellie?
Good.
Can you tell me who you're rooting for right now?
I kind of want to tie because I like the idea of like everybody even eating avocado toast and singing and screaming at the same time in the streets, you know?
All right, so it's on Tuesday for farmers because and Christians, but mostly farmers for occupation because they needed time to travel, and Sunday was like a church day, so Monday was their travel day.
So Ellie, yes, that is correct. It is indeed farmers.
The contestants, let's give Edgar a round of applause.
Thank you, Malik. Thank you.
Next game is Rabbit Hole. I'm going to ask you a question. You're going to start on the WGBH Wikipedia page, and you have to answer the question using only links on that page. The question: which 5 U.S. states run their elections primarily through mail-in ballots? On your mark, get set, go.
Let your keyboard fingers fly. I feel like you both might be down a pretty far rabbit hole.
Washington, Oregon, Utah, Colorado, and Hawaii.
Mr. Rush, you've got a point.
The next challenge is Dare to Share. You're going to start on the mass.gov site, and your challenge is to go find an absentee ballot application for the state of Massachusetts and DM the link to someone you know who might be able to use it. Ready? Go.
So, Mr. Rush, who
Yes.
are you thinking of sending it to when you find it?
I would think of a friend who's currently going to grad school in a different state.
I feel like Ellie is laser focused.
I know, I gotta focus in on this one.
Wait, do you know who you're going to want to send it to when you find it?
Yes, I also have a friend in Mass who is going to undergrad in another state.
I am currently in my email trying to attach the link.
Same.
Oh my gosh, oh, this is going to be good.
But I just sent my email to my friend. I'm sorry.
It's whatever.
So now we are at our final round. Ellie, beat him here and just say the ending is where what really matters.
Right.
This one is called Spot the Lie. I'm going to tell you 3 things. One of them isn't true, and you've got to find out which one that is. First, Massachusetts was the first state to have secret ballots. 2, in Massachusetts, people convicted of a felony can vote from prison. 3, on election day, you can't hold a political sign closer than 150 feet from a polling place. Find the one that isn't true. Go.
In Massachusetts, people with a felony conviction can vote from prison. They can't vote from prison, they can vote after they get out of prison again. Like, it's suspended.
That's right. You did it. Mr. Rush, you are taking it home. You are crowned internet expert. Are you going to hold Ellie to her consequence?
I will, but I would be more than happy to sing some Whitney Houston, so I'm good for that too.
Let's hear some Whitney Houston.
And I will always love you. Oh.
Oh my gosh, I would love another note, but Ellie, we got to give you a moment to just take a little video.
Yeah, so Snap, the young Mr. Rush, just beat me an internet expert, and so I have to make avocado toast and talk about how great millennials are, and I will post that on Snapchat because I took an L. Okay? Posting. It's on there.
Thank you both so much for playing.
Hey friends, so quick update for you all. Since we recorded this episode, there has been a temporary law passed in Massachusetts to expand access to absentee voting ballots and the applications for that. So you might remember Mr. Rush and Ellie, they shared that they were going to be sending their voting absentee ballot applications to friends who were going to be out of state on election day. Now, whether you're in state or out of state, as long as you are a Massachusetts resident, you can vote via absentee ballot. Let us know if there are any changes to voting happening in your state, and hey, thank you so much for watching the very first episode of Internet Expert. Cannot wait to see you right back here next time. Welcome to Internet Expert. This is the game show where you and your laptop can save democracy. I'm Malik Mercier, and this week we're following the money. We all know that money affects our elections, and in this week's episode, we're challenging you to understand how. Let's meet our contestants. So we've got Corey here. He's a comedian. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Originated in Boston, stand-up comedian, now national comedian, travel all over the country, just bringing the world chuckles and giggles all over the place.
I might have to see you in person do it one day, once it is safe to do so. So awesome to have you. We also have Sam, who is Corey's friend, also an assistant principal, a role many students find to be not so funny, let's be honest.
Yeah, sometimes they do find that.
What is the funniest thing Corey has ever said to you?
One day, I kept telling the student, just joking around, that I knew President Obama. So Corey called and pretended he was President Obama, and I had him on the speakerphone, and like the kids in my office were like, "Oh my goodness, you know the president!"
Corey, what does Sam have to do if you win?
I really am gonna want Sam to make me some of his famous baked macaroni and cheese. He makes some of the best baked macaroni and cheese that I've ever had, and I've been craving it. So I want baked mac and cheese, and I want it delivered to me. I will give him his dish back. That's all I want.
It is truly on, and I know that mac and cheese better be slamming if you win, Corey. Those stakes are pretty high. Sam, what does Corey have to do if you win?
So Corey knows my daughter loves singing, so I would like him to perform a song singing with my daughter.
Oh, that's special.
Now I got to disappoint two of them because I'm not losing. So.
We have a series of challenges. Each correct answer earns you 1 point, and the person with the most points wins. You'll start when I say cash flow, and let me know when you have the answer. Are you ready to play?
Yes. Ready, I'm ready.
Your first challenge is maxed out. It's pretty scary. I want you to use the internet to find the maximum amount of money an individual U.S. citizen can contribute to a candidate for office. So the point is going to go to whoever finds the answer first. Are you ready? Cash flow.
Hold on, Sam, take your time. It's your anniversary. What did you get for your wife today?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, I'm ready. 1,000.
And Sam, what's your answer?
Ooh, my answer is I say I have, it is individuals per $2,800 per election.
I've got to give the point to Sam.
Wow. Listen. Oh my goodness, that just hurt my soul.
Campaign financing in national elections is really complex. All of it is regulated by the Federal Election Commission, and that is what our next challenge is about. It's called Better Know a Federal Agency. You better know one. Starting on fec.gov, I want you to complete some sentences about the Federal Election Commission. So here's the first sentence. The FEC is an independent government regulatory agency charged with administering and enforcing blank. Corey, since you tried to trip up Sam, what did you have for breakfast?
You know what? I can't think about that right now.
I think I have my answer. So the Federal Election Commission, FEC, is the independent regulatory and agency charged with administering and enforcing the federal campaign's finance law.
You are so right. I don't know if this is just assistant principal magic or something. Here's the next. The agency is led by 6 commissioners, no more than 3 of whom can belong to the same political party. There are currently blank vacant commissioner positions.
I have an answer.
Sam, what's your answer?
So there's 6 in total. I would say there's 3 openings.
You are correct. Here is the third. At least blank votes are required for any official commission action.
Here's the thing. I found all these things that could be it, but no numbers.
Because I think you skipped over it. So when it says, the affirmative vote of 4, so I'm going to say you need 4 votes.
The score is 4-0.
Oh my goodness.
The Federal Election Commission, as of right now, only has 3 commissioners, meaning they can't take action on campaign finance violations. The next challenge is called Follow the Money. And for this, we need help from some special guest. I hear you both have some. Sam, who is your special guest today?
My special guest with me today is my daughter, Kyla.
Welcome to the show. Corey, who are you playing with?
My special guest is my son, Kinston. Come in here. Kinston.
Okay, teams, are you ready to do some math? I'm going to give you an equation using FEC.gov's presidential candidate funding map. Find the numbers and complete the equation. High five when you think you know the answer. Trump's fundraising in Texas plus Biden's fundraising in Illinois minus Warren's fundraising in Washington, plus all of Michael Bloomberg's operating expenditures. Okay. Cash flow, which is our word for go. You may go.
But we're going to press minus. Now you're going to enter.
So Trump's fundraising in Texas, so plus Joe Biden's fundraising, so we got to get those 2 first.
I think we got a number here. I'm going to go with the number.
2, 3, 6, 8, 4, 2, 9.
Unfortunately, that number is incorrect. So, Corey, I'm going to give you only another minute to have some sort of answer for me.
Okay, we got you.
2, 0, 3, 3, 1, 9, 6, 5.
Got it. We still need more time. Go ahead, Sam. You guys are ready. You can answer.
I don't have the answer.
I'm going to ask Kinston, do you think I should give Dad a point just out of the kindness of my heart?
Yeah.
So we're going to just say the winner of the challenge is Corey and Kinston. Give it up.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was hard. And campaign finance. Can you find a match in political spending? That's the question. I'm going to give you 3 political donors and potential donations using the FEC's campaign contribution chart. Find out if the donation is legal. If it is, say swipe right. A college student wants to donate $50 to their favorite presidential candidate. Swipe right or swipe left?
No, because we already talked about contributions. We talked about that at the beginning.
We're going to move on. 4-2. Acme Corporation wants to give $1 million to a super PAC. Swipe right or swipe left. And remember, you might want to read the fine print this time.
I think I got an answer.
I got an answer as well.
Wow, okay, we'll hear Sam's first and then Corey.
Swipe left.
Swipe left, okay. And Corey?
Swipe right. Because the fine print says super PAC and it's unlimited contributions. That's why we have to check the fine print there.
Wow, you were just killing it. 4-3. Let's focus on this one. Acme Corporation CEO wants to give $500,000 to a presidential candidate's campaign committee. Swipe right or left?
Swipe right.
From this light understanding of what I have here, I'm going to say swipe left. Oh, I can't wait for that mac and cheese. Baked.
It is not legal. Corey, you have miraculously made a comeback. Now the game is tied, and the key takeaway here is that hard money, which is money donated directly to candidates through their campaign committees, is regulated and capped by the FEC, while soft money, which is money spent not in coordination with candidate campaigns, primarily through super PACs, is not regulated. If you win this next question, if you get the point, you will win the game. And if you lose, well, you will either be baking mac and cheese or singing very soon. Here we go. You're a staffer on the Joe Biden campaign, and you want to take your friend who works at a super PAC out to lunch. Can you do that?
I'm just going to say yes. Taking them out to lunch. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm gonna go with yes.
Corey, specifically being that you wanted the mac and cheese. Lunch sounds great, but no. Sam, you are officially internet expert. How does it feel?
Oh, it feels amazing. It feels amazing. And
the smiling, like it feels so good.
It feels so good is because I know how Corey feels in the inside right now. I'm just so happy.
That was
He
it.
wanted to lose.
Yeah,
He wanted to lose.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Anyways, what's the song?
You don't know this kind of music. I'll teach you it. I'm a sucker for all the simple little things no one knows about you, about you, about you, about you.
On that note, thank you both and all for playing. And that's not quite it for this episode of Internet Expert. Our next question is for you. Knowing that your state has 2 senators, we want you to find out how much money they raised in their most recent election. There is a link in the description to help get you started to find the answer. Let us know the answer in the comments, and thank you so much for watching Internet Expert. There are new episodes every other Wednesday. Can't wait to see you right back here next time. Hey, what's up, and welcome to Internet Expert. This is the game where you and your laptop can save democracy. I'm Malik Mercier, your host, and this week we're excavating everyone's favorite election relic, the Electoral College. US presidential elections aren't decided by the popular vote alone. They're decided by the Electoral College, which is a process, not a place. Each state has a different number of electoral votes, and a presidential candidate needs a certain number of those votes in order to win. So to win today's game, contestants won't be earning points, they'll be earning electoral votes. Let's meet our contestants. Bethany is a comedian and co-host of Nova's new series, Parental Logic. Hi, Bethany.
Hi Malik. Very excited to be here. I've got my son's safari vest on since we're going on a quest for knowledge.
I love that so much. We also have Alok here. He's a pediatrician and Bethany's Parental Logic co-host. How's it going, Alok?
I don't have a safari vest to wear, so I do feel like I'm underprepared for this, but I'm ready to go.
This is a high-stakes competition. Bethany, tell me a little bit about your rivalry, the relationship with Alok.
Alok knows everything about kids because he's a doctor and he studied them scientifically. And I know everything about kids because I have them. My body made them.
Bethany is right. Listen, I could tell you about textbook pediatric knowledge, but not actually how to feed them.
Bethany, what does Alok have to do if you win?
Ooh. Alok, who is a public advocate for health safety around COVID, mask wearing. So my challenge for Alok is to bedazzle a mask and then post it to your social media wearing it in public.
Oh my gosh. All right, I'm down. So here's the thing about Bethany, or her street name BVD, is when we are filming episodes of Parental Logic and we have these little breaks, Bethany often busts out into song and dance. And she has a one-up on everyone because she knows all these awesome children's songs. So if I win, Bethany has to throw down a children's nursery song, right? But it needs to be done in hip-hop fashion.
Let's start the game so that we can find out what happens. First challenge is in it to win it. I want you to find out how many electors there are and how many a presidential candidate needs to win. Are you ready? Go.
Get it!
What is your answer, Bethany?
There are 538 electors, and in order to win, you need 270. A presidential candidate needs 270.
That's right. So to win today's game, you will need to get 270 electoral votes. This map is divided into 5 regions identified by 2 shades of the same color. In each challenge, a region is at stake. If you win, you get to pick one shade of the color in that region, and you get the electoral votes in that section. Your opponent gets the leftovers. Bethany, which shade purple do you pick?
Texas, please.
Okay. Alok, you get what's next to it. So you'll have the one to the right of that with Arkansas and Louisiana.
Okay, I'll take it.
So Bethany, you chose the one with less electoral votes, so you have 50 electoral votes, and Alok, you chose the one with more, or you got the one with more, so you have 83 electoral votes.
Sounds unfair.
Challenge 2 is called Elector Selector. Starting on the website for the National Archives, you have to answer 3 questions about electors and how they are chosen. Answer 2 out of 3 of these correctly, and you get to pick the next batch of electoral votes. Question number 1. How was the number of electors per state determined?
Let's see.
Got it. The amount of electors they get, there's a value that's proportional to the state's population, plus 2 for each state senators, plus 1 as a House of Rep vote. So that's 3 plus the amount that's proportional to the state's population.
That is correct. Question 2. How do states choose their electors?
I got it.
Bethany, I'd love to hear it. What's your answer?
Okay, it's a 2-part process. The political parties in each state choose slates of potential electors, sometimes before the general election. And then the second part is during the general election, the voters in each state select their state's electors by casting their ballots.
You are 100% correct there. All right, so now it's down to the best 2 out of 3. This is the last question. What qualifications are required to be an elector?
My lack of typing agility is definitely going to crush me here.
Alok, I see your hand. Okay, what's your answer?
It says, what are the qualifications to be an elector? Well, the Constitution doesn't really have a lot of qualifications about it, but Article 2, Section 1, Clause 2, in case you're wondering which clause, says no senator or representative or person holding an office or trust or profit under the U.S. shall be appointed an elector. So I'm tempted to say anyone can. I think my answer might be wrong.
I think we can take it.
I mean, literally it basically says anyone can do it as long as they're not a senator or a representative, or they haven't engaged in an insurrection or rebellion against the United States or given aid to its enemies.
That is correct. So Alok, you got 2 out of 3 right in that challenge, meaning you get to pick one of the oranges.
I'm gonna take that California kind of Tropicana, maybe Donald Duck orange.
You have to look at all your electoral votes. You got to do it. Look, this rivalry is going to be the worst because I'm going to be cheering you on the whole time.
And I got Arizona. I had Arizona Pride in there also.
Yeah, definitely.
Great choice, Alok. You now have 156 up from 83 electors. Bethany, you now have 85. Your next challenge is called the Old College Try. Starting on archives.gov, figure out how and when you can find out who your electors are. Question 1. When are electors officially appointed?
Who designed this website?
Yeah, it's so sticky.
Seriously, National Archives needs to go to Wix or something. Archives.gov was made when the archives were made.
It's hard to navigate this website. That's such an excuse, right? All right, you
guys
go.
are throwing so much shade at the National Archives.
Can I say got it?
Yes.
Yep.
According to the Constitution and federal law, there isn't a strict method of appointment. It just requires that electors be appointed on the Tuesday after the first Monday in November.
You double got that.
Yes. Okay, so each state and the District of Columbia will appoint its electors after it certifies the general election results. Each will then prepare a certificate of ascertainment which will contain the names of the electors and the number of votes they received.
I literally did not know that. So you're saying they get the votes and then they pick the electors?
Alok, you got that point. Here's the second question. How do you find out who your electors are?
Bethany, I'm going to go slowly to give you a chance to catch up.
I'm not giving up. Are you kidding? I'm stalling.
Alok,
Hold on.
I'm gonna give you a time limit because right now my faith is in you to answer this.
I'm going to say the Secretary of State for your state.
Yes, that is correct. There is not a lot of transparency, as you both noted, around who electors are, and some states have much more information available online than others. So contacting your Secretary of State is an outdated but generally good way of getting an accurate list of electors. Are you ready for question 3? All right, so for question 3, are electors required to vote for the candidate who won the popular vote in their state? I think this is a question a lot of people want to know the answer to.
I know the answer to that. Electors are not required to vote for the popular candidate. They're not required to.
So that was true up until super recently. So you might want to dig super quickly.
Okay. Got it.
Go ahead.
Got it. The Supreme Court says a state may require presidential electors to support its popular vote winner. Ooh, yeah. And that's from July 6th.
So super recent. So the Supreme Court just ruled that states can require electors to vote for the winner of the state's popular vote. So Bethany, you pretty much got that. I'm going to give the point to you. Alok got the others in this question, the 2 out of 3. So Alok, you get to pick one of the blue areas on the map.
Ooh.
I want one that's Prussian blue. I'm feeling Bob Ross right now. The Illinois, Wisconsin, that's Prussian blue.
Okay, Bethany, it is bad news. I won't sugarcoat it. You have 137 to Alok's 231.
Yeah.
The next challenge is called Popularity Contested. Based on the information available at fairvote.org, solve the following word problem. The first person to say the correct answer wins the challenge. Here it is. A new country forms with 5 states and an electoral college. Each state has 10 voters and 1 electoral vote. In the presidential election, candidate A gets 6 votes in 3 states and 0 in the other 2, while candidate B gets 10 votes in 2 states and 4 votes in each of the remaining 3. Candidate A has a total of 18 popular votes and candidate B has 32. Who wins the election?
Let's see. Here, I'll do the answer. Here we go. Who wins the election is candidate A.
Mm-hmm. So you know what? Yes. Yes. I'm going to give you the point. Candidate A wins the election because they got 3 electoral votes and candidate B only got 2. So, Bethany, which part of the pink region would you like?
I'll take the magenta region.
Lovely. We'll have the one right above that. Okay, so the race has tightened quite a bit. Bethany, you have 216. You jumped up. Alok, you have 264 electoral votes. So we're on our final challenge now. Very much on our way to finding out who the internet expert is. The final challenge is called Save the Date. Find the dates of the following 3 events and send calendar invites to someone you know to save the dates. The first person to send all 3 invites wins the challenge. Here are the dates you need to save for the 2020 election. The election day, meeting of the electors, and counting of electoral votes in Congress. Ready? Go. So Alok, tell me what you're doing right now.
Google searching and opening 3 simultaneous tabs.
All right, I have this one, but it's not adding to calendar. That's where I'm gonna get stuck.
Create. New invite. Oh my God, come on.
Do you often yell at your computer, Alok?
Hail at Max.
Oh my God, just call me Grandma.
Who am I sending this to? Anyone?
Anyone, your best friend, your mom. Let me know when you hit send.
I literally cannot find when they meet to count.
Yeah, I can't find that either. All right, I
Okay.
got it.
I got it too. I already sent my invites. You sent your invites?
I got it, but I can't send the invites, that's all.
I sent out 3 invites. Just want everyone to know.
Amazing. This means that Alok, you get to pick part of the green region.
I would like, so I've never been to the Dakotas before. So maybe I can pick the lighter green and summon the opportunity to go and visit.
I love that. And that means Bethany will get the darker green with Colorado. And with that, the electoral votes are in. Are you both ready to find out who was crowned internet expert?
Yes!
Bethany, you got 237 electoral votes, so unfortunately I cannot crown you internet expert, but Alok, you topped off at 301, making you the internet expert.
Expert is a stretch. Thank you.
That was so great, eye-opening, and in all the years of my life, have never understood the process like I do now. So that was great. Thank you, Malik.
Your nursery hip hop rhyme. We've gotta get something right here on the show.
Oh, right here now? All right. Little Tommy Tucker went to the cupboard looking for some curds and whey. I don't know. Hey, diddle diddle, the cat and the fiddle. The dish ran away with the spoon. The little dog laughed to see such a sight, and the dish ran away with the spoon again.
That was dope.
And thank you so much for playing Internet Expert. Congratulations, Alok. And Bethany, you did an awesome job as well.
Not happy about this, Alok. Little Tommy Tucker singing for his supper. What shall we give him? Brown bread and butter, butter. How shall he cut it? Without a knife. How will he marry? Without a wife.
And hey, that's not quite it for this episode of Internet Expert. Our next question is for you. We couldn't forget about you. The question is, how many electors does your state have? Leave your answer in the comments and a link to where you found it. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Internet Expert, and we can't wait to see you right back here next time.
We cannot win this re-election. Excuse me, we can only re-elect Donald Trump.
Whoa, did Joe Biden really say this? We'll find out on this week's episode of Internet Expert. Hey, and welcome to Internet Expert. This is the game show where you and your laptop can save democracy. I'm Malik Mercier, and this week we're finding out the truth about fake news. Misinformation and disinformation play a huge role in our media landscape, and so today we're going to learn a little bit about sorting fact from fiction online. Let's meet our contestants. Sonia, you may only be a freshman at UNC, but I mean, you're super involved. Can you tell me about your work? I mean, the Daily Tar Heel and with Media-Wise, you sound pretty awesome.
So I'm a journalism student at UNC Chapel Hill, and I work with that program run through the Poynter Institute to hold media literacy trainings for other college students across the country.
That's so impressive. And, you know, I mean, I always think there are great journalists that come from there. Brooke Baldwin, one of them. So it's just super cool. I can't wait to see what you do. Your competition today is a college senior, also from Poynter, Johanna. It's so great to meet you. Can you tell me how you got involved?
I am an international relations major at American, so they kind of just put a call out to anyone interested in helping out fight disinformation and misinformation before the election.
That's so cool, and I'm so glad you did that right before things got crazy. You two are colleagues, so today's bets could be pretty interesting. Sonia, what does Johanna have to do if you win today?
Johanna and I were talking about this beforehand, and we thought it would be fun if both of us, if the person who loses has to eat like a big spoon of sriracha sauce.
A spoonful of sriracha. Wow. Johanna, how do you feel about that?
I'm not really looking forward to it. I haven't eaten lunch, so that'll be my lunch today, if that's what happens.
I think you're both up to the challenge, and I can't wait to see what happens. So let's start the game. Your first challenge is called Fast Fact Check. Here is a Facebook post with an image of a tweet allegedly posted by President Donald Trump. Using the internet, fact check this image. The first person to find out if Trump really tweeted this gets a point. Go.
I'm on TinEye. It's a reverse image search website.
So I am going to Politwhoops, which is a website run by ProPublica that finds deleted tweets from political officials and finding out if this is a tweet that he has deleted that's no longer on his page.
That's really smart.
All right, I think I'm ready.
What's your answer?
I think that this tweet by Donald Trump is fake, and he never actually tweeted it.
Yeah, you're right. Another way you could also know is because PolitiFact, which is another initiative of the Poynter Institute, rates information using a scale called the Truth-O-Meter, which has 6 levels of trustworthiness from true to pants on fire. And so this was rated pants on fire, not clearly not tweeted by the president. Speaking of PolitiFact, we have a special guest expert here to present your next challenge. Angie Holin is editor-in-chief of PolitiFact. Angie, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Malik. It's great to be here.
As editor-in-chief of a fact-checking publication, you must see more misinformation than anyone. I mean, what is the weirdest piece of misinformation that you've seen?
Well, recently, the weirdest piece I've seen online is about the coronavirus. It was an image that we found that claimed the TV show The Simpsons predicted the coronavirus. But alas, when we dug into it, it was an image that had been manipulated.
It's great that you guys were able to dig deeper and sort of help everyone to see the whole picture. I think it's super important to check sources. And I feel like the next challenge you're going to present for us has a little bit to do with all of that. So what is our next challenge?
Our next challenge is called cheap fakes. You've heard of deep fakes. These are videos that take a lot of technology. Well, cheap fakes, not so much. So I'm going to show you a video clip. And using PolitiFact, I want you to figure out if it was fake, how it was faked, what it was rated on the Truth-O-Meter, and then share the link to the real video. Ready? Here's the clip.
We cannot get reelected. We cannot win this reelection. We can only reelect Donald Trump.
Okay, if you're ready, find out how it was faked.
So Angie, do you think that people, have difficulty doing this, that it's kind of hard to find out whether or not something's true?
Video is the piece of evidence that is most convincing to people. So when there's a piece of video that's been manipulated or faked, it really can fool a lot of people.
I found a fact check from PolitiFact on the video. So according to the website, it cut Biden off early.
That's right. We rated this sample of a clip mostly false. It makes it sound like Biden wants to reelect Donald Trump. He definitely doesn't. And the video was deceptively edited by omission. The Washington Post fact checker has led pioneering efforts in video fact checking, and they give a framework of 3 ways that videos can be altered. So the first is missing context. With missing context, the video's framing lacks or misstates the context in which events occurred. The second way is deceptive editing. This is a case where a video has been edited or rearranged to change its meaning. And the third case is malicious transformation. This is in which the video has been entirely manipulated to transform the footage itself.
Angie, I mean, thank you so much for sharing those, because I feel like it's really helpful to sort of break it down like that. It's so important to check the sources of videos, and just so grateful you came on the show. The next challenge is called the Viral Spiral, and it has 2 questions. Number 1, starting from the Facebook post linked in the chat, find out what is wrong with this post and name 2 prominent people who shared it. If you need a hint, we borrowed this challenge name from factcheck.org. Are you ready? Go. Sonia, tell me where you're headed.
I am probably going to go back to PolitiFact and see if they've done a fact check on that.
All right, I have an answer. I went to factcheck.org and I found their article about this story. And so the 2 people who shared it were congressional candidate Jesse Melton and Fox News personality Mark Levin. And then what's wrong with the post is that this wasn't from her account. And it wasn't like she didn't even tweet that day.
You got it, that's correct. Number 2, starting from the tweet that is linked in chat, find out what is wrong with this post and where it came from. Remember, we borrowed this challenge name from factcheck.org. Ready? Go.
Okay, I'm ready. I have the answer. The quick take is that it was a viral Facebook post where the author expressed frustration about COVID-19, racial and political divisions, and it was seemingly attached to Serena Williams' names, but it was written by another Facebook user. And this is something that we see a lot of the time, and like flag as red flag, like something that is cross-posted from another social media, is something that we know is very likely it could be somebody else, because it's much harder to just like click on the name and see if that's actually Serena Williams' account.
That's it. Misinformation and disinformation can spread super quickly as accounts with bigger and bigger followings start to share them, especially when it's happening with inauthentic posts across platforms. Now let's play the domain name game. I'm going to give you 2 URLs and I want you to find out who owns them. The first is pbs.twimig.com. Just from looking at it, can you tell anything about this address?
I know pbs.org is a very reputable source, but this is a .twimig.com, which is like a URL that I've never heard of before, so that kind of raises some red flags off the start.
Sonia, you're right there. Now the challenge is to find out who owns it.
I've been on this site before, and it basically, I don't know, it just looks kind of funny because it like gets rid of the PBS prefix, but it says that like twimig.com is owned by Twitter.
That's right. So it's actually Twitter's image hosting domain. Kudos to you, Johanna, for finding that out. Here's your next URL, abcnews.com.co. What's your initial reaction when looking at this?
Initial reaction is that it shouldn't have a .com and then a .co.
Great analysis, Johanna. Now, for this one, we want you to find out who owns the URL of the reputable ABC News that we know, as well as this one, and compare the 2.
abc.com is registered to CSC corporate domains, and they're owned by ABC Incorporated, located in New York, which is their legitimate site. And then abcnews.com.co is registered to Big Rock Solutions. They don't have like a registered contact or organization name, and they're located in Delhi, in India.
Exactly. So the ABC News that we know is headquartered in New York City. So that site is very likely not affiliated with ABC News. In this case, abcnews.com.co was a very popular fake news site that mimicked the design and logo of ABC News. It has been taken down. Ways you can verify a website's source include checking the About page for ownership, as well as checking funding and contact information, checking the credentials of the site's content creators, as well as reviewing other articles on the site. You can also look for extensive spelling and grammatical errors, which sometimes are a dead giveaway. Now we're going to the laundromat. Narrative laundering is a technique used by online operatives to spread false information in the US and in other countries. For this challenge, I want you to find out who a writer calling herself Alice Donovan really is and what she did. Ready? Go.
All right, I found an article from thinkprogress.org that said Alice Donovan was a freelance writer, or people thought she was a freelance writer, but she was actually a Russian operative posing as a journalist. And just to make sure that that source wasn't fake, I looked through a few other news sites, thenewyorker.com and counterpunch.org, and a couple other news sites said the same thing.
Yeah, you're right, Sonia. So, she was specifically stoking discontent towards the Hillary Clinton campaign during the 2016 election. The Alice Donovan persona is an example of narrative laundering. A fake persona or a made-up think tank plants the seed of a false story on a far corner of the internet with the goal of getting it picked up and distributed and legitimized by other media outlets. And then they want it to be shared and repeated by bots and regular people on social platforms. Sonia, you got that right. This makes the final score 4-3. Johanna, you are officially internet expert for today. Congratulations. How does it feel?
It feels great, and I'm just really happy I don't have to eat the sriracha. Oh my god, that's a lot.
That is very spicy.
You took that like a champ.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Sonia, you made today's episode of Internet Expert the spiciest we have ever seen. Thank you both so much for playing.
Thanks for having
us.
This episode was a whole lot of fun, and we of course have a question for everyone watching. No pressure on this one, you won't have to eat sriracha. How do you verify the accuracy of content that you see online? Let us know in the comments, and we'll see you next time on Internet Expert. Welcome to Internet Expert, the game where you and your laptop can save democracy. I'm Malik Mercier, and this week we're focusing in on the place where your vote has the biggest impact, state and local elections. Today's contestants know exactly what I mean when I talk about the impact of state and local elections. They've taken political participation to a whole new level by running for office. Rigel, you were the youngest person ever elected to Berkeley City Council. Why did you decide to get involved, and was it hard?
Yeah, hard is a bit of an understatement. It's a really strange experience running for office as such a young person, but something we need to see more of all over the country. Almost a third of the population of the city is students at UC Berkeley. People had been saying for years that they felt like young people in the city needed to have a seat at the table.
That is awesome. I mean, I keep hearing about this, young people not only saying there need to be young people in office, but taking the step to actually make it happen themselves. So kudos to you. We've also got Chris here, the first Asian American elected to the state legislature in Indiana, and you're currently the youngest member of the Indiana House. What motivated you to run for office, and how does that feel?
Thanks, Malik. Yeah, it's definitely been a journey, and I never thought I would go into politics. For one, I studied engineering in college, and I moved back home after going to school in New York City. And when I came back to Indiana, I thought what can I do to help my own community? And I just went down the list of who represented me, and nobody wanted to run for this office. So I just said, I can give it a try. I'm in my 20s, I've got time. So here I am.
I remember just after you were elected, I saw an article that dropped about your race. And you said you'd be fine handling yourself in the Indiana State Legislature because you're used to being the only Asian in the room. So people's expectations of you, the discrimination, it didn't bother you. Are you Korean by chance?
I am. Yep.
저는 반 한국 사람. My mom's side is Korean.
I'm expecting a fire show, and to make it even more interesting,
showdown.
we have to set some stakes. So, Chris, what does Rigel have to do if you win?
Rigel, if I win, you have to endorse me in my next election. If I lose, I can endorse you.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm gonna add an extra layer here. Amidst a global pandemic and a reinvigorated movement for racial justice, there's been a lot of work to do. We've had some really long city council meetings recently, one of which didn't adjourn until 3 a.m. So Chris, if I win this internet challenge, I challenge you to post a selfie working for your constituents at 3 a.m. You can't take the selfie before 3 a.m. and then just post it at 3 a.m. You can't take it at 3 a.m. and then post it later. It has to be at 3 a.m., burning the midnight oil.
Oh gosh, the stakes got really high right now. Now I really don't want to lose.
It's on.
Our first challenge is called Inbox Democracy. Where can you go if you have questions about local elections? Your local elections office. In this challenge, you're going to find the email address of the local elections office. But since you already know a lot about your own areas, you both sound super involved, we're going to add a twist. You'll start at usa.gov/election office. Rigel, you'll be looking for the email address of Chris's election office in Marion County, Indiana. And Chris, you'll be looking for Rigel's in Alameda County, California. Are you both ready? Go.
The indiana.gov user interface leaves a lot to be desired. We're going to have to talk to somebody about that.
No excuses. Thank God Alameda starts with an A. I'm like right there. I got it. lolita.francisco@acgov.org.
Chris, you're right. We're going to take your answer. You get a point.
No!
Most counties have an elections office, and if you want solid answers but can't find them online, you want to go straight to the source. So contestants, we all know that there are some very serious moments happening right now. There's a national conversation about defunding and reimagining the role of police in our society. Have you had any experience with this lately?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're going to spend much of the next several months really trying to find every possible way, the greatest extent to which we can legally and safely transform the relationship that our residents have to our police department.
We've had discussions around ways we can make our police interface better with our community for sure. And at the state level, we want to make sure we have safe communities, obviously, but at the same time, we want to make sure our police have top-notch training. So finding that balance, like Rigel said, and catering to all of our constituents is something that's going to continue to be a challenge for both of us.
Thank you both for that. City councils and state legislatures are where a lot of these decisions and changes are made, and so that's exactly what our next challenge is about. It's called I'm Just a Bill. When I say conference committee, go to malegislature.gov and search for racial justice and police reform. I want you to find a bill called S.2800 and tell me the number of an amendment offered by State Senator Dean Tran, what it was about, and what action was taken on it. Ready, set, conference committee.
So part of being a local elected official in California, my specialty is actually knowing literally nothing about Massachusetts. So this is a challenge.
Chris, would you say the same for you?
Well, the Massachusetts legislature's website kind of looks similar to ours, so I think I'm getting there.
I think at the rate my internet is going, it might be faster just to call the district office of Senator Dean Tran and ask.
So I found a number of amendments by Mr. Tran, it appears. Number were rejected. Clerk number 62, chokehold and self-defense. RC number 231, and it's a question on the adoption of that amendment entitled Chokehold and Self-Defense.
That's right. Senator Tran proposed an amendment that would allow police officers to use chokeholds in the event that their lives are in immediate danger or if they're at serious risk of injury. The state Senate rejected the amendment. No two state legislatures are alike. Chris, do you have any fun facts about the Indiana legislature?
We have this amazing chandelier in the Indiana House of Representatives, and there are 100 members of the House, but there are also 100 of these little bulb things on the chandelier that signify each of us. It's kind of cool if you get a chance to come in person.
Do you know which bulb is yours?
No.
I think that's pretty cool to know there's a light bulb representing you. Now for our next challenge, go to town. In the US, there are several forms of municipal government starting on the National League of Cities website. Name 3 of those forms and tell me which is the most common. Ready? Go.
Like a charter city versus a general law city? What are we getting at here?
You have to go to the website, Rigel. Come on, play by the rules, man.
I have to say, Chris, I feel for you. I feel like there's a serious lack of representation of state government in mainstream media. You know, cities, we get Parks and Rec.
We're pretty boring.
You said it, not me. Oh yeah, okay. So this is what we're looking at. We're talking council manager. We're talking mayor council. We're talking commission. We're talking town meeting. We're talking representative town meeting.
Which one is the most common?
Council manager.
You are gold, yes. In a council manager government, city council oversees the general administration, makes policy, and they set the budget. The council appoints a city manager to carry out day-to-day operations, and the mayor is often chosen from the council on a rotating basis. The next challenge is called measuring up. Legislators aren't the only ones who make laws in the US. In most states, citizens can have a more direct impact through ballot measures. Ballot measures are laws, issues, or questions put to voters to decide in state and local elections. Starting on Ballotpedia's ballot measure page, you have to answer 3 questions about ballot measures and how they work. Each correct answer earns a point. Question 1. What are 3 main categories of ballot measure?
I think the real lesson here is that I need to upgrade my internet plan.
You know, that is a part of being internet expert.
I'm on a page that explains there's a list of statewide measures, including citizen initiatives, veto referendums, legislatively referred constitutional amendments, legislatively referred state statutes, legislative referred bond questions, commission referrals, and automatic referrals.
You got it.
I should get extra credit. I gave like 9 of them.
Here's question 2. What is the only state where no public vote is required to change the state constitution?
Delaware.
Yes. In Delaware, the state legislature can amend the state constitution without a public vote. Question 3. What is an initiated constitutional amendment and how many states allow them?
All right, so we're looking at an amendment to a state's constitution that comes about through the initiative process of the 26 US states that have some degree of direct democracy. 18 of them, that's your answer. 18 of them have a provision for initiated constitutional amendments, one of whom is California. So I see a lot of these.
How'd you get that so fast?
I'm an internet expert, what can I say?
I just got to the page, dang it.
Correct. Ballot measures are so important. If you've ever seen a sign that says vote yes on 2 or vote no on Proposition 431, that's about a ballot measure. Issues ranging from marijuana legalization all the way to gay marriage have been decided by ballot measures. The score is now tied at 3-3. The next challenge will decide who will be today's internet expert. We call this one Turnout for What? we all know that elections are ultimately they are ultimately decided by those who show up. State and local elections are held every year, but voter turnout varies widely from election to election. For this challenge, start at fairvote.org and find the following numbers for 2016 and 2018. Percent of voters who turned out in New Hampshire, 2016 versus 2018. Percent of voters who turned out in Nevada, 2016 versus 2018. Percent of voters who turned out in North Carolina, 2016 versus 2018. Go.
This is it. This is my chance.
Could be anyone's level up moment.
Can we use Wikipedia, or is that frowned upon?
No Wikipedia, unfortunately.
Okay, I think we're looking at 72.5% to 54% in New Hampshire. In Nevada, 57.4% to 46.5%. And then in North Carolina, 64.9% to 49%.
That is right. Rigel, you are officially internet expert.
I never thought this day would come. Thank you. Thank you. I want to thank the team at WGBH, my friends, my family, everyone that's gotten me to this point. It's an honor, really.
Chris, you did a great job, but unfortunately, you do have to do Rigel's challenge for you. Are you excited to be going out at 3 a.m.?
No. Actually, no.
Well, for what it's worth, I enthusiastically endorse you anyway.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you both so much for playing today.
Thanks so much for having us, Malik.
And hey, you know you play this game too, so we have a challenge for you. Do you know whether you can vote by mail in your state? If so, how can you get a ballot? Tell us in the comments below, and we will see you right back here next time on Internet Expert. Which of these images is most likely to make you stop scrolling, even if just for a moment? How about these? For political campaigns, the answer is more valuable than you might think. Political advertisers use fancy testing methods and data collection to decide what messages might persuade your vote. Find out how in this episode of Internet Expert. Welcome to Internet Expert, the game where you and your laptop can save democracy. I'm Malik Mercier, and this week we're diving into digital advertising. Digital advertising is a major way for political campaigns to reach voters, but what does that actually mean? Today, we're gonna try to figure it out. Let's meet the contestants. Kayla, you're a journalist for Yahoo News, and you also report on TikTok, which I just think is so cool. Can you tell me a little bit how you got started with that?
I started using TikTok just kind of like a user, just because they're really fun videos. But I had noticed that there wasn't a lot of news content on there. So I thought, why not try to start doing some news videos just for fun to keep people informed? And then I really noticed that specifically the younger audience, sometimes news feels exclusive and it doesn't feel like it's for their generation. So I kind of wanted to make sure that news felt inclusive. It was something that they could keep up with. And it's just been really fun ever since.
That's so exciting. I love that you're breaking down that barrier of news is a one-size-fits-all thing. I think it should be so much more inclusive. So awesome that you're bringing it to a brand new platform. Victoria, want to bring you in now. You're a reporter and producer in New York, and you do a lot of original content on Instagram. That is so awesome. Can you tell me a little bit about you?
So I was born and raised in Puerto Rico, moved to New York City to pursue my dreams of being a journalist, and I quickly found that I love social media, and I think that digital media and social media is a great way of storytelling. I have an IGTV show where I interview my favorite Latinx artists, and basically that's where a lot of my story ideas come from.
I think, it's so important to just continue to uplift communities that aren't heard as often, because that's really what journalism's about. I have a feeling today's competition is going to be very interesting. Kayla, what does Victoria have to do if you win?
Yes, I was very excited for this, especially after checking out your Instagram, Victoria. You're going to have to do one of your IG lives, and you're going to have to announce to everyone that you lost, and you got to tag me in it so I can repost and gloat a little bit.
Let's do it, but that won't be happening because I want
to win. Victoria is ready, throwing those punches. What does Kayla have to do if you win?
So I want Kayla to post on her TikTok account one way that journalists can use the platform to inform their viewers and how to build the audience. And at the beginning of the video, I would like her to say that she lost to me and link my account.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a really good one.
Let's do it.
Your first challenge is called Add It Up. Starting at the link in chat, find the number of Facebook ads run by Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton in 2016 and calculate the difference.
I'm like too focused right now.
Ooh.
Oh, I think I have the answer.
What's your answer?
Trump ran 5.9 million ads, while Clinton ran 66,000. So the difference would be 5,834,000.
You are correct. Trump's campaign ran a lot more ad variations, testing different strategies and quickly getting rid of ones that didn't perform as well. This matters because there is real reach for campaigns through digital platforms, and there are some that believe that that is the way to the Oval Office. The next challenge is called Move 'em or Lose 'em. Using Google's political ad library, find an ad that asks the viewer to move or take action in the physical world, also known in campaigning as mobilization. Ready? Go.
I got it. Woo.
It was like, slow down.
The link I found has an ad that says, radical Dems want to take your guns away, so sign the petition to have them not take the guns away.
That works. That is an example of positive mobilization, which aims to convince your base to vote or take action for your campaign. There is an opposite to this, negative mobilization, which is usually convincing voters from the other party not to act. Mobilization is all about playing to your base and is less concerned with growing your audience. Victoria gets a point. So it's 2-0. Kayla, I can feel it. You're gonna slam this next one. Your next challenge is called Save the Data. We're going to learn a little more about the data platforms collect about us. To start, go to Facebook, then Settings, and then Ads to find the following 3 pieces of information the platform collects about you to share with advertisers. The first person to answer each one gets a point. Number 1, name a business whose website, app, or store Facebook tracked you interacting with.
I think I have one. I found ThreadUp was one of the ones that was advertised to me on Facebook. It's like a used clothing consignment shop, and I had been looking for it actually just like on Google and wanted to know more about it. And I guess Facebook caught that and knows now that I'm interested.
Wow. So does that surprise you at all?
It's weird because it's a website I've looked at separately from the Facebook platform. So it's interesting to kind of see they know that I am interested in that store and that it's now saved there.
Super interesting. And so now the score is 2-1. Number 2, name 3 information categories Facebook is using to help target you based on your online activity.
Oh, I think I have that too. These are very interesting ones I would just like to say: pets, social issues, elections or politics, and also parenting. I'm not a parent, but they know I'm interested in babies, I guess. I just think they're so cute. So
So 2-2-2 is the score now. Number 3, name 2 social actions you could take on Facebook that might result in the platform showing a related advertisement to your friend.
Okay, so
Oh, I exited out of that page.
I got it. It says if you like a page or if you share a post.
Yes, that is correct. Facebook has over 9 million active advertisers on their platform. When an ad is placed, Facebook's AI analyzes user data to find out who to give the ad to and when, so it has the most impact. This is very handy for helping political campaigns reach potential supporters that they might not know about, but also creates challenges around transparency since it's almost impossible to unpack the algorithm's decisions. Victoria got this point, score is now 3-2. Next challenge. Attention, Target shoppers! For this challenge, ProPublica has a tool called the Facebook Ad Collector. Go to the ad collector and find the top political ad targeted to a 25-year-old woman living in Utah that is liberal. The first person to share a permalink to the top ad gets the point. Go.
Okay, I think I have it.
Girl, you're fast.
Kayla was speedy on that one. Can you tell me just a little bit about this ad?
Yeah, so Elizabeth Warren had an ad that basically was telling people to get organized. Said Team Warren will convene our first volunteer training in Sandy on Wednesday, October 23rd. And she was pushing for big structural change.
Yes. This Warren ad is trying to get people to RSVP for a volunteer training program in Utah using data-based targeting. Ads can be targeted based on your age, your gender, political leanings, and physical location, among many, many other things. Our last challenge is called Iteration Nation. Political advertisers run hundreds or even thousands of ad variations to see which one will make you click. I'm going to give you 2 things to find using Facebook's ad library. The first person to find the correct answer for each one gets a point. Here's your first one. In response to the announcement of Kamala Harris as Joe Biden's VP pick, the Trump campaign ran Facebook ads in Florida claiming the presidential race would come down to, quote, real Americans versus blank.
Oh, okay, I think I have it. Is it real Americans versus anarchists?
No.
Oh, no.
Are you in the Facebook ad library?
Okay, I'm seeing what I did wrong now. I was not.
Oh, I got it. Socialist?
Yes, that is right. If you look through all of the similar ads the campaign ran about Kamala Harris, you will see that the language stays the same, but they used a different series of images for Harris and Biden. This is an example of A/B testing to see what viewers respond to. Next one. In ads that ran on Instagram in California in early August, Biden promoted his agenda to the Latinx community with an image using what Spanish phrase? Both seem laser focused.
I know. Very in it.
I have to say, this is fascinating. I did not know you could like search ads and see all of this. Got it?
Oh my goodness.
What's your answer?
Todos con Biden?
Yes, that is correct. Oh my God.
I like competition.
Yes.
Oh
my goodness.
These ads ran primarily in California and Texas, 2 states with large Latinx populations. The decisions about where these ads ran were likely decided by a combination of the audience the campaign selected and Facebook's algorithm using data it had collected from users. With 5 points, Victoria, you are today's internet expert. Congratulations. How does it feel?
It feels great, but it feels even better to be joined by you two who are also internet experts. So I'm like super hyped to tell other people that they can also do the same and really get informed prior to November.
You are so sweet. Kayla, you came in with 3 points. You were fighting, but you are going to have to do Victoria's challenge despite being awesome today.
Oh, I'm ready. I'm thinking all of the TikTok ideas. I'm ready to tag, give the advice. Honestly, hard fought battle and you earned it, Victoria. You killed it.
Thank you. We killed it.
Thank you both so much for playing.
Thank you so much. This was so fun, guys.
Since we recorded this episode, Facebook has said they're going to try to limit election interference by banning political ads during the week leading up to Election Day. Do you think this will work? Let us know in the comments, and we'll see you back here next time on Internet Expert. Is the right to vote guaranteed by the U.S. Constitution? Find out in this week's episode of Internet Expert. Welcome to Internet Expert, the game where you and your laptop can save democracy. I'm Malik Mercier, and this week we're talking about voter suppression. Congressman John Lewis said, quote, "The vote is the most powerful nonviolent change agent you have in a democratic society. You must use it because it is not guaranteed. You can lose it," end quote. The US Constitution does not guarantee the right to vote, which means that the states have a lot of power over how and when voting happens and who gets to exercise the right. Today, we're going to find out why. Let's meet our contestants. Miles, you're up first. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm the host, and I also produce on a web series called Above the Noise with PBS Digital Studios and KQED here in the Bay Area. I've been doing it for a few years, and I'm excited to be here and participate today.
That's so awesome. I really enjoy your show, so I'm super excited to have you here. We also have Jackson here, who is a YouTuber and content creator, a writer as well in New York. Tell me more about you.
Hello, thank you so much, Malik. Thanks for having me. As you said, I'm a YouTuber, writer, podcaster, all of the internet things, and most of my work revolves around transgender education and advocacy.
Miles, you're in Oakland, and Jackson, you're in New York, so we have a little East versus West rivalry on our hands today. Miles, what does Jackson have to do if you win?
I just need Jackson to sing a song about how great Above the Noise is. I just need like a shameless self-promotion. So just sing Above the Noise. I'm gonna do a jingle for you. Yeah, exactly. I just need a jingle that tells me how great our web series is.
Oh man.
That is a really big bet. Jackson, what does Miles have to do if you win?
I thought with the East Coast, West Coast thing we got going on that Miles should throw down a few bars a cappella of Empire State of Mind.
Ooh, okay.
Ooh. might have to listen to it beforehand.
Right, yeah. I can just sing the chorus for you, like really pitchy and off key.
Yeah, the jingle for you is going to be super pitchy and off key as well.
For sure.
I am super excited to see how this turns out, so let's start the game. Your first challenge is called The Road to Suffrage. Here's a timeline of key voting rights events that is out of order. Using the Library of Congress Civil Rights Legal Timeline, put them in chronological order. Ready? Go.
All right.
Okay. Let's see
I've
here.
definitely been following some of this lately, but I couldn't do it off the top of my head.
I feel like I'm going to be singing Empire State of Mind. I don't know.
I think I got it.
Oh, I'm so slow.
What's your answer?
All right, so 1870 is the 15th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, granting African American men the right to vote. 1875, Minor versus Happersett in Missouri held that a state could constitutionally prevent a woman from voting. 1913, Gwynn versus the United States in Oklahoma deemed that state constitutional provisions permitting grandfather clauses for passing literacy tests as a voting requirement were unconstitutional. And then 1920 was the 19th Amendment to the Constitution, ratifying and granting women the right to vote. 1965, the Voting Rights Act passes. And then in 2013 was Shelby County versus Holder, which invalidated Section 4 of the Voting Rights Act.
You got it, Jackson. To understand voter suppression in the US, it's important that we understand the history behind it. As states adopted their own constitutions, they each made rules about who could vote, how they could vote, and when. As a result of years of advocacy, a series of laws, and Supreme Court rulings, the right to vote has been expanded to every citizen, but there are still mechanisms that are used and created to control the exercise of that right. That's a point for Jackson. The score is 1-0. The next challenge is called Overturned. The Voting Rights Act of 1965 was landmark legislation that implemented federal protections for individual voting rights by prohibiting things like literacy tests and proof of moral character as requirements to vote. In 2013, the Supreme Court removed some of those protections in the decision Shelby County versus Holder. For this challenge, I want you to go to the text of the Supreme Court's decision and fill in the blanks in the following 3 statements. Here we go. Number 1. Quote, in those covered jurisdictions, Section 5 of the Act provides that no change in voting procedures can take effect until approved by specified federal authorities in Washington, D.C. Such approval is known as blank.
Ooh, I think I found it. I think it's pre-clearance.
That's it. Pre-clearance is the process of having the Justice Department review changes to election laws in jurisdictions with a history of voter suppression and racial discrimination in elections. Here's your second quote. Our country has changed, and while any racial discrimination in voting is too much, Congress must ensure that the legislation it passes to remedy that problem speaks to current conditions. The judgment of the Court of Appeals is blank.
It's like you get weeks at a time to do this type of research, you know? We get a little pitch meeting, you know, you get a review session where you can go back and forth with your colleagues. I gotta sing a song at the end of this. There's a lot of pressure. I think I got it.
I'm ready to hear it. Go ahead.
Is the answer reversed?
You're right. One of the reasons the court threw out the federal review process is because the majority felt it was based on outdated conditions. That means, Miles, you're on the board with your first point, and Jackson, you're in the lead at 2-1.
I had to get on the board.
Here's your last quote. Throwing out preclearance when it has worked and is continuing to work to stop discriminatory changes is like blank.
I think I got it.
Go ahead.
Okay, the whole quote is throwing out preclearance when it has worked is continuing to work. What did I say? Oh, throwing away your umbrella in a rainstorm because you are not getting wet.
Yes, that's a famous line from Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg's dissent in the case. Her point was that the federal review process worked to prevent voter suppression in current conditions, but it only worked because it's in place. Your next challenge is called Block the Vote. Of the many types of voting restrictions, 4 are most prevalent: voter ID laws, voter registration restrictions, felony disenfranchisement, and voter purges. I'm going to give you a series of links, and I want you to find some specific information on each site. The first person to find each one gets a point. Number 1, visit the National Conference of State Legislatures website and find Tennessee's voter ID requirements.
Okay.
I think I have it. So they have strict photo ID. If ID is not presented, the voter votes on a provisional ballot and must return within 2 days to show an ID or sign an affidavit attesting to indigence or a religious objection.
That's it. Voter ID laws are a very common way of restricting who can cast votes. As of April 2020, 34 states have voter identification requirements. Next item. Using the ACLU's felony disenfranchisement map, tell me which states allow everyone to vote, regardless of conviction history.
Ooh, that should be a good one.
Oh, this map has lots of different colors on it. These laws are more complicated than I thought. It's not just yes or no.
I think I got it. Vermont and Maine?
Yes, Vermont and Maine allow every citizen to vote, even if they're incarcerated or have a felony conviction. As of 2016, nearly 6.1 million Americans couldn't vote because of a felony conviction, and Black Americans of voting age are more than 4 times as likely to lose their voting rights than the rest of the adult population. Item 3. Using the Brennan Center's interactive map, find out what voter registration requirement Kansas implemented in 2016.
Oh, wait, I think... wait, no. I found it, yeah.
I'm almost there. All right.
So new restrictions in place for the first time in 2016. That would be documentary proof of citizenship required to register using the state registration form.
You got it. This is an example of a registration restriction, adding more hoops for people to jump through in order to exercise their right to vote. A federal court struck down the law in 2018, and the state is appealing. Final item. Go to the Brennan Center's report on voter purges and find out the number of voters removed from rolls across the country from 2014 to 2016.
Find the number of voters removed from rolls around the country between 2014 and 2016, you say?
Oh, I got it.
Oh, dang it, go.
16 million.
Correct. Purging is the process of deleting names from voter registration lists with the goal of removing people who no longer vote in the district. The process is often flawed, removing eligible voters from the rolls, which prevents them from casting a ballot that counts. For the next challenge, we're going to find out about a new form of voter suppression. Here to help is GBH News reporter Soraya Wintersmith. Hi, Soraya.
Hi, Malik.
So you have covered a lot of tough stories in 2020. What keeps you going?
Yeah, it sounds really simple, but I think I really just believe in the work of journalism. We hold people accountable, we inform people, and sometimes it's something small, like who was littering or doing something petty, and sometimes it's something big.
That also keeps me going. You never know what positive change can come out of journalism.
This next challenge is called Pushing the Envelope. The COVID-19 pandemic makes in-person voting a health risk, and a number of states are expanding mail-in voting so people can vote safely from home. At the same time, the Trump administration is scaling back the U.S. Postal Service's capacity to process and deliver mail, which means mail-in ballots maybe aren't delivered in time for the election. I want you to go to a recent story I wrote about the United States Postal Service and find out what the acronym DBCS means. Then, look at this internal U.S. Postal Service memo from May 15th, titled Equipment Reduction. Find out which region is losing the most DBCS machines by percentage. Ready? Go.
Thank you so much.
Is a very tough to read table here.
I think I got it. So the acronym, delivery bar code sorter, and then which region is losing? I see the region would be the southern region.
Sorry, Miles, that's not right.
Oh no. I have a different guess, but I'm scared too.
We have nothing to lose at this point. Go.
Western?
That's right.
Oh.
As of May 15th, the U.S. Postal Service planned to remove 21.2% of the Western region's delivery barcode sorter machines. Other regions are slated to lose between 18 and 20% of their machines. These things cost millions of dollars, and removing them limits the United States Postal Service's ability to deliver the mail on time.
Wow.
Soraya, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Bye.
Hey, thanks for inviting me.
Jackson, that means you get the point and are in the lead. The score is now 5-4.
That is close though. I don't feel comfortable with that lead.
Here's your final challenge. This challenge is called Back to the Future. As we learned earlier, the right to vote isn't guaranteed by the Constitution, and since the Supreme Court struck down some protections in the Voting Rights Act, the federal government has little authority to enforce equal voting rights. Late Representative John Lewis sought to change this with the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act. Go to congress.gov and find the full official title of the Senate bill.
I think I can do this. I can do this. This is a part of the learning process. What is going on this Congress site? Do I just not know how to navigate it? Is that what's happening right now?
The government is not known for having the most intuitive websites.
Yeah, I'm like, I like to think that I'm informed, and then I see all these letters and numbers, and I'm just like, all right, well.
I do not make the websites.
This Congress site is frustrating me at this point.
Well, I'll go ahead and give it a shot. Okay, I think the official title is A Bill to Amend the Voting Rights Act of 1965 to revise the criteria for determining which states and political subdivisions are subject to Section 4 of the Act and for other purposes.
That sounds right.
Yes! That is right.
That took way too long for me to find, too. Like, what?
The VRAA would address current voting rights concerns and make them adaptable for the future. So far, the House has passed the bill, but the Senate has declined to take it up. Jackson with 6 points. You are today's internet expert. Congratulations. How does it feel?
Oh, man. I'm just real glad that I don't have to come up with a song because this has been like so much to think about and follow. I didn't have any spare time to be coming up with lyrics in the background.
Miles, you had a great showing with 4 points, but you are gonna have to sing your heart out to Jackson. Let's hear it.
All right, you might want to turn your headphones down, turn your speakers down a little bit. In New York, somewhere dreams are made of. There's nothing you can't do. Now you're in New York.
Amazing.
That makes my day and makes you a winner in my eyes. Congrats to the both of you, and thank you so much for playing.
Oh man, this was fun. I really appreciate this.
One final question for you all. Have you ever seen or experienced voter suppression? Share your story with us in the comments and check out the description for resources on what you can do if you ever see or experience voter suppression in action. Do you know how to hold government officials accountable? We're going to tell you how in this episode of Internet Expert. Welcome to Internet Expert, the game where you and your laptop can save democracy. I'm Malik Mercier, and this week we're going into the great beyond voting. We all know that voting is one way we can actively make a difference in our country and in our communities. But what else can we do to be the change we want to see in the world? There are a lot of things, and today's contestants know a little bit about making change. They're both change makers and members of Gen Z Girl Gang, an online collective for young women and femmes. Jade, you're the influencer and branded partnerships executive for Gen Z Girl Gang, and you're also very into fashion. I love your green top you've got on. Tell me more about your story.
Hi, I'm Jade Walker. I'm 19 years old. I'm a fashion merchandising major at LIM College, and I'm a junior. I've had a passion for fashion my whole life, and I am an organizer and activist, and I recently just started my own organization called Change Beyond Tomorrow, which is a youth-led organization fighting racial injustice on Long Island.
That's so impressive, and congratulations on doing all of that work. It's really important in this time. Deja founded Gen Z Girl Gang, but that's just one chapter in a pretty awesome story. Deja, how are you? Good to see you, and tell me more about you.
I'm an activist, an influencer, and a strategist. I most recently finished up work on the Kamala Harris campaign and have since transitioned my work into helping nonprofits and purpose-driven orgs really step into this digital moment powerfully. And that is work that we're doing at Gen Z Girl Gang too, as we really push the way we use social media as a community building tool.
So Jade, what does Deja have to do if you win?
Since we're talking about stepping powerfully into the digital age, we're going to go into the platform of Miss TikTok herself. And my girl Deja, she's going to have to perform a little dance to the Shark Boy and Lava Girl remix. Yes.
Okay.
Deja, I hope this is not your fate. Maybe it is, we don't know. But what does Jade have to do if you win?
If I win, I want Jade to make an Instagram story detailing her love of me, how we met, our story in Instagram story highlight.
A highlight dedicated to you.
A highlight. I want a highlight for me.
Okay.
I can't wait to see which one of these happen. Let's start the game. For our very first challenge of the day, we have a very special guest. Contestants, please welcome Anna Castro.
Hi.
So Anna, you are a faculty member of the Solidarity Semester. It's a project that provides trainings for activists and organizations that are interested in making social change. Can you tell me more about that?
Yes, of course. I mean, I think that, these two amazing people on the show are really indicative of just the energy and the solutions that exist when you give youth the power to step in and make decisions. And so through the Solidarity Semester, what we're really doing is offering folks the language, the jargon, the tools to engage in making social change in their own communities.
I can't wait for our contestants to learn from you. So take it away.
Your first challenge is called Poll Party. So starting on eac.gov, please find the minimum age requirement for a poll worker in your county. Are you ready? Go.
I feel like I just want the FAQs. Why is this giving me so...
I feel this really goes to show we really need to work with these government websites. This information should be way easier.
Yeah.
It should be right at the top. Oh, I found it.
No. Okay, let's hear it.
In order to be a poll worker in Richland County, South Carolina, where I'm located right now, the minimum age requirement is 16 years old.
Yes, okay, that is awesome. So that's right.
Man.
Many poll workers usually were older folks. This was a way that they could volunteer during election season. But because of Miss Rona, because of COVID, a lot of people are deciding to sit it out. So a lot of younger people can actually go in and check out and become poll workers. The job is really fun. It includes setting up the polling locations, making sure that you are distributing and collecting ballots. And of course, for all of us that are out here on the social medias, taking pictures, giving out those stickers that say, I voted. And I also just want to add to this, it is really important to remember that all of us have a role to play in enacting social change. What are my skills? What is it that I'm good at? Am I the type of person that is on, Twitter, Instagram all day long, just sharing information, verifying that information is correct? Am I recording lives, sharing my perspective on what is happening in politics? Am I helping people put together their voting plans? Each of these roles, figuring out how you fit into them, is so important so that we have a sustainable ecosystem.
Anna, thank you so much for helping us to see that and allowing us to keep that in mind as we get involved and take action ahead of this election.
Thank you so much. Good luck in this competition.
The next challenge is called Run For It, which we might need some inspiration to run. Let's say after watching Internet Expert, you decide to run for office, which, if so, go you. Use Ballotpedia to find the eligibility requirements for running for the following offices in your state. Each correct answer gets a point. First one is state legislator.
I might be cheating a little bit here by using the search bar.
No, I did that too.
You can use that.
Oh, hi, I found it.
Tell me.
Okay, for state legislature, for South Carolina, the age requirement for the Senate is 25, for House is 21. You don't need to be, there's a dash, so I think it means non-applicable if for a district resident. You have to be a registered voter. You have to, have to be a US citizen, and you have to be a resident of the state for both?
Yes, the score is 2-0 with Jade in the lead. We're going to move on to number 2. Find the eligibility requirements to run for governor.
Come on, load with me.
Load with me. Come on.
Oh, we found it. I found it.
No! I think your Wi-Fi is faster than mine.
Go for it, Jade.
A candidate for governor of the state of South Carolina must be at least 30 years old, a citizen of the United States, a resident of South Carolina for at least 5 years.
You got it. Most states have age and residency requirements to run for statewide offices. City and county level positions often have lower age requirements and are less competitive, so they can be a great stepping stone that allows you to make real change in your community. This challenge is called What Can I Do For Ya? A functioning democracy requires informed citizens. Citizens who know what's going on in their government can hold those in power accountable. But the government doesn't always make information about its activities, as you both know, accessible. That's where the Freedom of Information Act comes in, and it is known as FOIA. Starting on muckrock.com, find a completed FOIA request for Hillary Clinton's secret salad dressing. I want to know when the request was made, when it was completed, and where the State Department says the salad dressing can be found. Ready? Go.
Okay, come on. I'm trying. Come on.
I did it.
No, mine didn't even load. Go off. Well, what is it?
It was filed on 07/18/2019. It was completed 9/16/2020. And the State Department said that it could be found in the Department of State's virtual reading room.
That is correct. So FOIA gives any member of the public the right to request access to records from any federal agency, and Muckrock has a template that you can use that makes submitting requests very straightforward. Agencies are required to disclose any information requested unless it falls under one of 9 exemptions. FOIA does not cover state and local agencies. However, all 50 states have freedom of information laws. Those specific rules vary. Jade, that's another point for you. The score is now 4-0. More than 15 million people, including all of us, have turned 18 since the last presidential election. Let's find out more about the impact we can have on this election. This challenge is called 18 and Up. I want you to use Circle's RAISE Index, which stands for Reaching All Youth Strengthens Engagement, to examine county-level data on factors and conditions that correlate with youth civic engagement. The first person to answer each question gets a point. Use the index to find the RAISE rating for your county, which represents the potential for growth in youth engagement. Ready? Go.
Okay. Wow, my Wi-Fi, I want you to know, does not want me to win. She's holding me back, really.
We do accept Wi-Fi complaints.
Oh, I found it. The RAISE rating for my county, which is Richland County, is 4 stars.
Yes, that's it. So here's your next one. Find a county in Pennsylvania where people aged 18 to 29 make up at least 20% of the eligible voting population, and that has a high close elections index, meaning the election was too close to call in 2016.
Did I find one too?
All right, hit me with it.
Allegheny County, Pennsylvania.
No, that is actually wrong.
Why?
Deja, this is your potential moment.
Okay, it finally opened. I looked up Pennsylvania. Is it Center County, Pennsylvania?
That's right.
I got there.
As you can see, Center County is one county in a crucial swing state where investment in youth engagement will go a long way in the 2020 election. The RAISE Index is primarily a tool for organizations and institutions, but if you're looking to amplify your efforts, you can look for counties near you with a high RAISE rating and find out how you can get involved there. Your final challenge is called Rights to Know. Protesting can be a powerful tool for affecting social change, but if you decide to attend or organize a protest, it's important to know your rights and participate safely. Using the ACLU's Protesters' Rights Guide, fill in the blanks of the following 3 statements. The first to answer each one gets a point. You don't need a blank to march in the streets or on sidewalks as long as marchers don't obstruct car or pedestrian traffic.
You don't need a permit to march in the streets or on sidewalks as long as marchers don't obstruct car or pedestrian traffic. If you don't have a permit, police officers can ask you to move to the side of a street or sidewalk to let others pass for safety reasons.
Go Deja! Yes. Here's your next one. When you are lawfully present in blank, you have the right to photograph anything in plain view, including federal buildings and the police.
I have the answer.
Go ahead.
When you are lawfully present in any public space, public space, you have the right to photograph anything in plain view, including federal buildings and the police. On private property, the owner may set rules related to photography or video.
Yes. Score is 6-2. Final one. You never have to consent to blank. If you do explicitly consent, it can affect you later in court.
I got it. You never have to consent to a search of yourself or your belongings. If you do explicitly consent, it can affect you later in court.
That is right.
Woo!
Of course, there is a difference between knowing your rights and being able to exercise those rights safely. If your rights are being violated, it is important for you to safely de-escalate the situation to protect yourself and report those violations when it is safe to do so. Jade, you are today's internet expert. How does it feel?
I'm getting emotional. I didn't know. This is not what I was expecting at all, but the hard work paid off, and I'd truly like to thank Deja, who was also in the category nominated with me. I did it. We did it.
What a speech, Jade. I love the passion for being internet expert. Deja, you are gonna have to make a TikTok today.
Yeah, I am. Yes, I am. That's fine. I'd like to thank Jade for keeping us knowledgeable, really surfing the web.
Well, congratulations to the both of you, and thank you so much for playing.
Thanks for having us.
And of course, we have one final question for you. What are some ways we haven't talked about that you are making change in your community? Let us know in the comments, and thank you so much for joining us on Internet Expert.